Turn that damn juice on!
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon, as we're going to have a Reaction Monday, reacting to everything that happened over the sports weekend. We'll do an Alumni Hall question of the day, as well as get into a vibe check of the chat presented by our friends at Basis Health, do a best and worst of the weekend presented by our friends at Looper Auction and Realty, and also recap some crazy headlines from the weekend, according to our friends over at BetSaracen. We'll get to all the chats, all the sports topics, all the great stuff. But fellas, it feels like just a few hours ago that we departed from Foghorns and for the bombastic post-game show, but it's good to be back in the comforts of our own home doing Inside Arkansas Live. How are the vibes on this Monday?
The vibes are great. The vibes are great. I mean, I'm feeling super over here. Man, I mean, like, how could anybody wake up in a bad mood today? You know what I mean? Like, how could the vibes be anything other than high? This is fantastic, dude. A little bit of Arkansas, but all you need is a little bit of Dave Van Horn in your life to forget about all your troubles in the real world. At least that's what I'm telling myself today. I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm same. It's hard not to feel good after a weekend like that. There is nobody in the chat who could ruin my vibe. None of the haters of the Razorbacks nor of us could ruin my vibes today. I'm feeling great.
Yeah, and chat, please don't test that theory. Let's just not even test it. Let's not even go to that point and trying to ruin the vibes, because as you guys said, the vibes are high. It's hard not to have some high vibes when you know that Arkansas is going to be heading into the super regionals. And it's just nice to be able to sweep a regional. Never really any games in doubt. Felt like you were the better team. And you know, we talked about, I know, a lot last night. And if you want to hear our live reactions, go back and listen to it or watch it after the show, of course. But it's such a great feeling to wake up even after a few hours of sleep and just be like, there's no stress about, oh man, today. It's just sitting back, relaxing, and let's see who our next opponent's going to be. And I think that that's something, and I know Dave talked about it in his press conference last night, which we'll talk some about the stuff that happened and the reactions from the team and Dave and everything post game. But he basically went into it. He said, "Hey, can't take this for granted." He's like, I've been in a situation where past couple of years we ended it early. Been in a situation where we went to somebody else's regional and ended their season. Now, I've been from all sides of this thing, and it's just something you can never really take for granted. No matter how you win, no matter how it's done, no matter who it's against, anything like that, don't take it for granted. And you may look at that as cliche, but guys, I think most Razorback fans, not all Razorback fans, agree and feel the same way, where, yeah, you celebrate because you win and you won and everything, but it's another thing of like, wow, yeah, this, after the last two seasons especially, don't take this for granted at all. Don't look ahead. Don't feel like you're too cocky, too arrogant, whatever it is. Just enjoy it and understand it's tough to win a regional. It's tough, especially when you had some good teams in it. Live it up and enjoy it. You're not done yet, but don't take it for granted winning a regional in college baseball.
Yeah, man. Wise words from the sensei there. DVH giving off those Master Splinter vibes, man. He's got him locked in there. There's such a balance to be found, because you want to celebrate the good things that happen. And he's 100% right. You can't take it for granted. And so far, I've been pretty impressed with the way that he's been able to deliver that message while also delivering some of those other messages of, hey, you ain't done nothing yet, comparatively speaking to the goal here. So don't get too fat and happy over what's going on. I like the line that he's kind of drawn there. There's a perfect in-between balance to be had. And I think that's kind of exactly what we've seen from him so far. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you like he says, take nothing for granted. Hog fans the last 2 years obviously gives them more reason to not take things for granted. They know how easy it is for even the best teams in the country, even a team ranked number 3 overall in the tournament. It's so easy to slip up here. There's so many weird things that can happen. And it's just nice, like we said yesterday, to look around the country and not have to compare yourselves anymore. You're looking, you're like, ooh, thank God we avoided all those booby traps. And so certainly Dave Van Horn has that experience, which makes it easier for him to say stuff like that and that message to be clear. But I think for this fan base that has experienced all these highs and lows of this baseball program, whether you've been a fan for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we've been through so many of these postseason journeys together. None of them are there. No one postseason journey, no two are the same. And so it's very fascinating to see this team write their own new story. It's a new chapter. And so we just got to be grateful for it all, but we get to enjoy this Monday without having to play baseball, which is a privilege. And I think for Dave Van Horn and this team, it's hard not to think they have the right mindset. Obviously, it's easy when you're playing well and winning and everything goes according to schedule to say, man, they look good, man. They look like they're handling this well. They haven't faced any adversity. But I do feel like we are reaffirmed with how we felt preseason that this team is built for this season. They're built for the postseason. They're built for this run. And they checked all the boxes this weekend.
Yeah, and I know you know this, Andrew, and Curtis, you know this too. I mean, from the basketball standpoint, we talk about regular season. We talk about regular season games. We talk about regular season victories and regular season losses, the highs and lows and everything like that. But I don't think, and this is maybe coming from our perspective when it comes to content and when it comes to reacting and discussing it, I mean, there's just nothing like it in the amount of change and jump that you have whenever you have success regular season versus success postseason. And I know that's obvious, but it's just incredible. You know, like last night and over the weekend, we were at Foghorns doing bombastic pregame, postgame, everything. Just everyone tapping in, everyone showing up, everyone giving us high fives, walking through the concourse and people just being excited. It's just a whole nother animal that you really cannot put a number on or really grasp. And that's what makes this so much fun for us. Obviously, we want to see the Razorbacks do well, but just the fun aspect of everyone being happy and tuning in and wanting more and wanting to know more about it. And the further you go, the better it's going to be. Because, you know, even in basketball, the difference between the first weekend and the second weekend was insane, how big of a difference in a jump it was. And I know that the expectations are different, but, you know, College World Series is another animal. But still, even now, first weekend to second weekend, I promise you this week, it's going to be crazy because it's just that change and that belief that suddenly it's like, all right, out of the way. Now we're one of the final 16 teams. You're in the Sweet 16 of college baseball. It just changes everybody's mindset, mentality, and their mood and their vibe completely for this week leading up into the Supers.
And you can't hide it. You know what I mean? Like it's impossible to what did Trey used to tell us, Andrew, to take that fandom and you can have it, but you just got to kind of tuck it into your back pocket or whatever. Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, come on, man. There ain't no way. You're right. The excitement level is just different. We love every bit of it. We talk about it every day. And it's a roller coaster, man. The ups, the downs, the good stuff, the bad stuff. You know, we're here for it. But yeah, we're prisoners of the moment too, man. We love this postseason stuff. I've always thought, you know, that when I look at Andrew, I see a younger me. You know, I see a lot of Andrew there. But no, in all seriousness, the last couple of days here, just seeing him buzzing around, big smile on his face, and you know, just every so often it gets quiet, and that's rare. You know, when you're hanging out with Andrew, we know that. But then he'll just do kind of like a, oh, man, this is awesome, man, this is great. And I'm like, he's buzzing right now. And then I think about it, I'm like, this is exactly how I was during March Madness, man. It just hits different. And I'm loving seeing you right now, man, because I just know how good I feel when it's my sport, you know, and it's basketball and they're going deep. And it's just very rewarding to see everything that's going on here. And I'm pumped for this team. I don't think that the ride is anywhere close to being done here for Arkansas baseball. So we got plenty of more to be excited about. And I can't wait to get nervous with you guys throughout the course of the week, because I have a feeling, and I'm surprised I didn't get that nervous going into this weekend, and it never really hit me. I'm telling you right now, that's not going to be the case this weekend. I'm already feeling it a little bit. We don't even know who the hell they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it's postseason in any sport, and you know you get that clean slate, and the regular season no longer matters, it's always crazy. But you know, it's in football, college football. I feel like all the craziness happens in the regular season. Once you get to the postseason, it's kind of like, all right, here are the teams. Here's who's going to win. But in basketball and baseball, you get that madness, if you will. But I think with Arkansas fans, you always try and contextualize things in your brain. We sometimes have to see things before we can believe it. So that's why when Arkansas hasn't won a title, it's hard to believe they're really going to get over that hump and do it, because we just haven't seen it. But I think when you think back to past college baseball postseasons, there's always craziness, there's always upsets, but it's usually the same kind of teams that win the title, mostly SEC teams, and it's rarely SEC teams who finish first in their conference, which Arkansas did not. And outside of the Ole Miss team from 2022, it's usually teams that were good in the regular season. So as much as there's madness and there's unpredictability, usually teams that check very specific boxes that win the title. And I think Hog fans, when they look at this Razorback team and they compare it to some of these teams that you've seen win the title over the last decade, Arkansas looks a lot like those teams. They feel a lot like those teams, and they damn sure look like it this weekend.
Well, and I think to y'all's point too, it's about belief. And for fans' sake, it's about the true belief. There's nothing to have fake confidence and just believe because someone told you to believe or anything like that. But, and I know this for sure, Andrew, all regular season long, not every fan was this way, but so many fans were like, doesn't matter. Don't care till postseason. Let's see what they do. And, I get it. And, that's because at the end of the day, College World Series, that's the goal. Winning it all, that's the goal. But to get to this point and to get over that hump and to get to the Sweet 16, the Super Regionals, and do it in the fashion that you did it, where you came out and dominated. You didn't get lucky. You didn't just get the luck of the draw from really bad teams. You didn't have any of that. You just did it. And I think that that's really what puts people on notice a little bit when it comes to their excitement level for what this could end up being, is because now suddenly it changes everyone's mentality towards the viewpoint of this team, where it's like, okay, yeah, we're good or whatever, but we lost 5 SEC series and whatever years. Oh, well, yeah, we're good and all, but we can't figure out starting pitching, any of that stuff, because you're afraid during that time of what it'll be in postseason, because that's what it always is. You're afraid of, well, if it's bad now, postseason, we're cooked. You got a long way to go. I think we all understand that, but to have it look the way it did, how it did, that was the team, that was the performance, that was the weekend that everybody was hoping, praying, wishing for so long to have, where it all came together. You're hoping it happens again this weekend, but it almost really put people's radars on alert, where it's like, okay, yeah, so this could be it. This could be a team that truly gets it done and wins it all. And I think Razorback fans are starting to come around. And if you win this Super Regional this weekend, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit, potential matchups and everything, but if you go back to Omaha, man, it's going to elevate it to an 11 of people's true confidence and belief that this could be the year the Razorbacks finally get it done.
Didn't take much to flip that switch for a lot of folks. And for some people, it's like a defense mechanism of, nah, hell no. Like there's no way I'm believing in this. Seen it one too many times, and they're going to point out anything they can possibly find to poo-poo on something. But deep down inside, they all want exactly what we want. All fans are built the same in terms of the end game here. They want a winner, man. They want to be at the top of the mountain. And, the way that they played in this regional, even the most pessimistic of fan out there, the most cautious because they don't want to get hurt again, don't want to put themselves back out there after a bad breakup. I'm telling you, man, it's really, really difficult to not be excited about it right now. So well done. Couldn't have written a better script for how they performed in the regional. I'm so excited to see them get out there in a super, regardless of who they play. But I hope it's Tennessee.
Yes.
Well, I think it's important for this Razorback fan base to see this team in this context where they're just out there against a competition and they are out talenting them. They are out duding them. They are out pitching, out hitting, out everything. You get to see the difference. You get to see it in real time at just like how much a different level this Razorback team is on. Because in SEC play, you rarely get to see that. Arkansas they won 20 SEC games, don't forget. But you rarely get to see that clear and definitive of a story play out in the SEC. And I think sometimes we're prisoners of every moment we live in. It's hard to believe in this team and being this awesome juggernaut because you rarely get to see them lean on someone the way they did this weekend against non-SEC competition. And so I think it's a good reminder for the fan base because, again, like you said, John, we always do that comparison game of like, all right, Zach Root stunk today. What's that going to look like in the postseason? All right, Gage Wood stunk today. And when you see them against competition like this that they rarely get to face, you're kind of reminded this team on their worst day is going to be more talented than 98% of the country. And so it's like it's not that hard to envision a world where all these pieces come together. And that's what was so frustrating all year is when we'd have these conversations, people would be like, well, how are they going to be good? They're starting pitching struggling. It's like, well, do you not see a world where Zach Root and Gage Wood are very good? Do you not see a world where Gabe Gackle is very good? These potential first round picks. Same with the lineup and same with the defense, which, by the way, we haven't talked about a ton. 0 errors on the weekend for Arkansas. You're going to win a lot of games. Even if you can't hit, you're going to win a lot of games playing that way and pitching the way that Arkansas did. And it was just good to see all three phases come together. We rarely see that.
Yeah, and I know we'll get into the chat, folks, and we'll get into some other segments. But yeah, it's a great feeling to have. And maybe I'm a prisoner in the moment. And if I am, I'll admit it. But, there was times where every year that Arkansas was in postseason play, even after winning a regional, everything like that, that I had a belief that, okay, maybe they could win it all. There's always been that element of it because listen, we've seen teams like an Ole Miss, come out of nowhere and win it all. And they probably shouldn't even been in the postseason. So those seeing history where those things happen, it kind of gives you a little bit of hope. It's like, well, maybe this could happen for us. But every single time I always felt like, well, as long as we don't have to face this team, or as long as we don't have to go through and see the whole College World Series and this team getting hot right now, I don't want to face them. It's nothing like that right now. I just feel like Arkansas, they have it. They have it all. It doesn't mean that they for sure win it all, but they got it. And I'm not looking ahead at the schedule. And obviously, we'll talk about who they're going to play, but I'm not looking at it and being like, ooh, just got to avoid this team. Got to avoid this team because of how well they're playing. I feel like they're the best team in the country. And also, guys, too, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes you get wrapped so much in your own bubble of the team you watch, team you cover, team you root for and everything. That you're like, oh, the pitching's this or the hitting's this or whatever. And sometimes you don't even look around at the rest of the country and be like, yeah, but you think that they got it down pat? You think that they got a starting rotation of 3 guys that are just killing it? I mean, your problems here at Arkansas right now, at least in this season, are nowhere close to the problems that a lot of these other teams are having across the country. Not even close.
That's 100% true, man. And it can really go a few different ways when you get to this stage, because every single team in the country, even the best of them, including Arkansas, you watch them enough, you can find some things to nitpick. You can find some questions that you want an answer to. And everybody's in that situation. Now, all these teams have questions. Some of them, you realize they didn't have answers. Texas, Vandy, teams like that, and they're going to be sitting and watching the rest of the time. Some of these teams are going to get out of their regional, but those questions are amplified big time. Tennessee, if they get through tonight, some of these other teams that are in elimination games, LSU, what the heck are you doing, right? Arkansas is one of just a very select handful of teams who, yeah, sure, there are questions, but they went out and proved why sometimes, the answers can kind of outweigh that. And, oh yeah, this is what they are capable of. Arkansas, Auburn, I'm sure there are probably a couple other teams out there that really kind of made a statement this weekend, but a lot of them didn't, man. So this is definitely a more favorable position to be in than a vast majority of the country and the teams that made this field.
Now, that's a great way to put it. Like, everyone has questions. What are your answers to those questions? And for this Arkansas team, I think we like some of the answers. I can get behind some of these answers. And some years I maybe don't like that answer of like, oh, you sure this guy's your number 2? Are we sure about that? It's like we have those. But I think Arkansas, it's not like their answers are going to be right every single day, every single test. But I think those are answers that we can all live with. We can get behind the premise of this team. And you're right, Gary. You look around the country and it's like, some of these teams have some answers, and they're getting the job done, but it's definitely shaky. And so I guess the message here is that it's not that Arkansas's answers are foolproof. This team can get beat. Everyone can have that answer turn out to be the wrong answer, even if it's the right decision. We talk about that a lot with the coaches and decisions. Almost so many decisions you have to make, whether it's pitching, hitting, lineup, whatever. All these teams are susceptible, including Arkansas. We've seen Arkansas lose series because it can happen. But I think you just have to know that you have all the pieces. You have a team that's capable of beating anyone on any given day. Now it's just a matter of going out and doing it. What is it? 7 more wins that they need to win the national title. You just have to get those answers right 7 more times.
All it takes. And before we get into our Alumni Hall question today, as well as the chat, let's go ahead and hear from Dave Van Horn, his post-game speech with the Razorback baseball team following the regional victory.
Congratulations on winning the regional. Trust me, we all know how hard it is to win a regional. And sometimes you might think, hey, we just kind of cruised through it, because you guys played really good. You pitched amazing, played great defense 3 games in a row. A lot of big hits, a lot of extra base hits, and stay focused. Let me tell you something. It takes everybody out here. The guys that aren't playing, the managers, the doctors, the trainers. It takes everybody to win. I appreciate the effort in the dugout. You guys are into it. Stay humble, all right? Stay humble. We got more going, all right? We got other things we want to do. So take it easy, enjoy it. Be smart, and we'll see you, who knows, maybe tomorrow afternoon. Let's get together and talk a little bit, okay? Great weekend, man. Proud of you guys.
I got 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh!
One thing I love that Dave does, and he does it in press conferences a lot, where he says maybe for something that's not a maybe at all. He'll do that. He'll be like, yeah, we pulled Zach Groot. I think he threw maybe 6 innings. It's like, yeah, he threw 6 innings. There ain't no maybe. You're gonna meet with the team tomorrow afternoon. Like, what do you mean maybe?
There's nothing more I would love to do than to get together and talk with Dave Van Horn. That sounded like a great plan for a Monday afternoon, man. And hey, some coaches, in a moment like that, will give a ton of credit to everyone, including the managers and the assistant coaches and the support staff. And then there are other coaches out there who just go nuclear on others and make a big butthole of themselves. So shout out to DVH for also being a class act in his profession.
Yeah, he definitely is that too. I also like the fact I feel like he threw in a couple of Nick Saban's ites in there too. I know he's done a little bit, but the little ite where it's kind of his transitional phrase there or word there between sentences. So, but yeah, great message, and I think the really obvious thing, but important thing that he said too is saying, hey, you guys may think, man, we just cruised through this. Oh, this was easy. It's like, because you guys played good. It wasn't because it was easy. It's because you as a team played awesome. So that's the message I think that really needed to be sent to the team. And hopefully, and I think they understand it, but it wasn't that it was easy because you had a bunch of scrubs and they just played like trash with trash players. It's because you took care of business. And guess what, guys? If you continue to play that well, it is going to seem easy because you're the best dadgum team in the country. And if you keep playing good, no one's going to stop you. Simple.
All you got to do is rack up 20 strikeouts and don't issue any walks. That's all you got to do, and just never make an error. And only let your opponent score 6 runs all weekend. But seriously, I think it ties into our whole point that we're kind of saying here is that it's all about just what did you do? Like, why did you have that success? How did Arkansas win? Can they do that again? And sometimes you have these games where it's like, oh man, we scored 15 runs and we did all this. Okay, well, can you do that tomorrow? Well, I don't know. But it's like you watch these games this weekend and none of them felt unsustainable. None of them felt like out of the ordinary. Oh crap, they had to get a bunch of breaks. When you play the way Arkansas can play, you don't need a ton of crazy things to go your way. And I think that's what is also going to give this team and this fan base a lot of confidence this month.
Absolutely. So we'll get into your chats. But first, let's do our Alumni Hall question of the day presented by our friends at Alumni Hall. We're going to be live at Alumni Hall this Friday at noon, 3417 North College Avenue. So come by and see us. Get ready for the supers because I know that they're going to have a full-fledged line for all the great Razorback apparel there in stock and in store. And if you come by and say what's up to us, use that promo code HOGSBY20, you get 20% off your purchase. Simple as that. You can also go to insidearkansas.com/alumni hall or go up to that QR code and use the code HOGSBY20 for 20% off. For all the great Razorback apparel that they have. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. So, we'll look around the rest of college baseball, but obviously the one Razorback fans are paying attention to will be the Knoxville Regional, where Tennessee, after a loss yesterday to Wake Forest, is in an elimination game today. So you will be facing either the Tennessee Volunteers in a rematch from a couple weeks ago or the Wake Forest Demon Deacons?
Demon Deacons, baby.
Demon Deacons, not the Golden Deacons. That'd be weird. Demon Deacons is weird too. So either way, it's one of the two. So simple question. Who would you rather play? I think we all kind of knew the answer, but I wanted to make sure I gauge this correctly. As of right now, between the two teams, 81% of you say Wake Forest is the team you would rather play.
Nah, man. Sign me up for the story. I'm not afraid of Tennessee. Come on now. No, like if you had to pick the opponent you would feel better about getting through, the answer is 1000% Wake Forest. Man, we know how talented Tennessee is. They're also the defending champs. I know it's a very, very different team, but that does kind of matter at this stage of the season. And there would be just a ton of pressure and stress and anxiety with the Tony V angle and everything that goes into that. I want it, man. Bring it on. Like I want that type of anticipation on steroids. Give me that. I ain't afraid of nothing, man.
I'm glad that you said that, Curtis, because I think I've kind of talked myself into wanting Tennessee to win tonight in a weird way. So one, again, because the storylines and all that in our line of work, obviously it helps it being Tennessee, but also I just think big picture about this Tennessee squad, they're substantially worse than last year's squad that won the Natty. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean they can't go on and beat Arkansas. Doesn't mean they can't win it, but it's I just think big picture, I don't know. Arkansas did beat them as well. I kind of like the idea of beating them. Whereas, think if Wake Forest pulls it off and wins tonight, think about how much confidence they're going to have and how like they're going to feel like they're kind of peaking. Whereas if Tennessee wins tonight, they might be kind of going like, thank God we got out of that. Oh, we used Liam Doyle 50 pitches. You know, like I don't think I'm terrified of that matchup. I would still not love it. I'm not going to love it with Wake Forest, who, by the way, go look at Wake Forest's offensive numbers and you will not feel that confident about those dudes. You mentioned it, Curtis, how like we're going to have to start doing research. Last night was the first time I really started doing research on Wake Forest. I don't love that offense. They scare me a little bit, but I also said that about Kansas, so I'm not going to get too ahead of myself.
Fair enough.
Hey, listen, they play in that ACC conference. They don't play in the SEC. You know, it's different over here. So, but listen, I said last night that I don't care if it's Tennessee or Wake Forest, I'm still going to feel good about Arkansas winning. But it's a matter of, if I knew Arkansas was going to win 100%, no matter who it was, if I knew they were going to win, give me Tennessee. But if I knew they were going to lose, give me Wake Forest. You know, like the win over Tennessee would be sweeter, but the loss over to Wake Forest would be not as hurtful in a weird way. So, but give me either one of them. I still feel good about Arkansas and taking them on. But the greatest story thing would be, hey, if that happened, if Arkansas beat Tennessee 2-0, say, and went on to Omaha that way, it's already there. But good grief, yeah, Dave Van Horn owns Tony Vitello just in the head to head. Like it's just okay. I know Tony V's got his title. That's great. He's a great coach, and I still believe and feel like he'll be Arkansas's next head coach until I'm told otherwise. But the record speaks for itself.
Oh,
it's like Nick Saban versus his assistants forever. Same thing with Dave Van Horn, man, against Tony V.
We could officially add Tony V to the list of Razorback coaches' sons, you know, alongside Bill Self and Rick Pitino. Does Sam Pittman have a son?
It was almost Lane Kiffin, but
it was almost Lane Kiffin. If they get him this year, we'll go ahead and throw Lane in there. But yeah, it's a growing list. The family's getting larger.
Mark Pope, you in there as well?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go fishing here for a second. So John, if Arkansas beats Tennessee next weekend, does that all but clinch Tony Vitello as the next head coach at Arkansas?
I'll have to see what the post-game handshake discussion is made, you know, because Dave already said he's right behind, the coach from last night. I have that video. I'm not going to play it, but I just love it. He's the last night, the Creighton's coach is his retirement, and Dave Van Horn said, I'm not far behind you. Everyone's like, oh, what does that mean? It's like, it's what old people say to other old people that are retiring. It's just like, hey, I'm going to be right there with you. But no, I think, honestly, that would be pretty. I mean, it'd be cool no matter what, but that would be cool if Dave ends Tony's season, ends Tennessee's season. Dave wins it all. Dave hangs it up. And then the lasting memory that those Tennessee Volunteer fans are going to have of Tony Vitello as their coach is losing to the team that took their head coach. That would be
KD and the Warriors, man. It'd be just like it.
Yep. It'd be awesome.
It was wild how your voice changed at the very end of that statement there.
Yeah.
It got ominous, man. I like that.
Yeah. That was my voice imaging voice that came on because it just got me all excited to think
that was
about
good word.
Yeah. Possibility that could end up happening. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the chats and check the vibes presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing those mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health. They are here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org or check out that QR code there up in the top right corner of the screen. All right, we'll start off with a super chat. Appreciate it from Heartbroken Hog. He says, being a football fan first at Arkansas feels like being the Squidward meme stuck inside while watching SpongeBob and Patrick have fun outside. Yeah, I can understand.
You can come out and play. It's all right.
I was gonna say, like, just walk downstairs, open the door, like, this is a pickup game, bro. Anybody can come and join. But seriously, and I will say, I've been kind of wanting to make fun of Heartbroken Hog because I see him crying in the comments every day. Why aren't you talking football? Please, come on, Sam Pittman, come on, guys. Dude, just watch baseball and enjoy it. Like, we're all having a great time. We're all having a blast. Come party at Foghorns. Like, it's okay. Nobody's gonna hold it against you. Like, just enjoy baseball. You don't have to stick to this bit.
You don't become less of a football fan by becoming more of a baseball fan. You know, it's
right.
All right.
I mean, literally, like, there's a ton of people who baseball's probably not their first option, but it's like, dude, we're still having a blast, you know?
If you jump on board with with things like baseball and basketball, then it eases the sting of football when they're in a when they're in a time frame like they are currently.
When they exist the way they do. If Nick Pringle can make 2 appearances at Baum Walker Stadium this weekend, you can pull up and watch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I'll also add to it as well. I mean, I look at the same thing with like softball this past year, any sport. It's like, I'm just a Razorback fan, I mean, obviously I love Razorback sports, other ones more than others, but hey, if somebody is about to win a national championship and be in a sport that's really fun to watch, gymnastics, for instance, if gymnastics went to the finals and was about to win a championship, I'd be locked in. I'd want to watch it. I want to check it out. Same with every sport. So you don't have to be, you can prefer certain sports, but just be a Razorback fan. And right now, Razorbacks in baseball have a really good chance to win it all. So enjoy the ride. Ricky V, appreciate the super chat. He says, a salute to UTSA for axing the Shorthorns. Yes, thank you, UTSA. We appreciate you. It was doomed whenever Schloss was saying giggle in the dugout. They were doomed from that point on. But yeah, hated to see Texas and Vanderbilt get eliminated. It was just really, really rough stuff.
Vandy just ran out of time. Yes. At least that's what Corbin said.
Ran out of time. What is that? Is that kind of like the same thing when people are like, "Oh, we didn't lose the game. We just, ran out of time pretty much." That's so lame. Come on.
Tim Corbin said it unironically in a game that does not have a clock.
Yeah, there is no time.
Run out of game in a game that is not determined by time at all.
Like, we just needed one more inning. Well, okay. I don't know if that would have changed anything. No, that's funny. Let's see. A few of the other chats here too. Shout out with Trent. He says, saw y'all good looking fellas on TV and Andrew with the great catch. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of TV time going on for the Inside Arkansas Live fellas.
Man, I was a little bit disappointed last night. I had a great time in the seats. I was sitting over there with Andrew where he was the night before and he got the foul ball. Nothing came near us. Like nothing came near us. And I was protected by the kid who made the web gem the night before in case a screamer came our way. But I thought I was going to at least have an opportunity to try to use my height advantage to get my hands on one of those baseballs. Didn't happen, man. Not even close.
Rocco Pepe didn't even throw us a ball, and he was tossing them all over the place. But shout out to that kid for not being obnoxious, by the way. Like, if I had caught a foul ball at a game when I was a kid, I would have been obnoxious the whole weekend. It seemed like a humble, kid that, had a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, too, because when Kirsten, you're sitting next to me, obviously, where we were sitting, if we were going to get a foul ball, it'd have to be a much differently hit foul ball than what it would be that way. But since it was going to be, basically a pop fly, I was going to have to yell at you and just be like, Curtis, if you're going to catch this, please let me know, because I'm not going to try to catch it since you're taller than me and you're going to put your hands up and I don't want to try to out jump you on it. Just like, we almost needed to establish what was going to happen in that situation, because the last thing I wanted to do is me and you be fighting over it. Then I know I'm going to lose. And then it either I mess up your hand and then it ends up hitting me in the face. Like, it was just going to have to be a team effort to make sure none of those things happen.
Curtis is about to box you out, bro. It's about to be like the David Tyree helmet catch. You were going to be Rodney Harrison.
That's fine. I know. But the thing is I'd have no shame in that, because it's not like, everyone be like, oh, I can't believe Curtis, the basketball guy at 6'8", beat John for a foul ball. It's like, yeah, well, I think that would be the case. It'd have to be the case. So I have no shame in that. But if it was, a child, like that kid over there with the web gym, if I couldn't out jump him, then I got major issues then. Let's see. Also, Hickory Hawk says, I feel like we got some arms that could use some work, and a certain in-state team could probably use a hand. Could we see an appearance from Cole Gibbler for the Trojans? Yeah, that's good.
Hey, he didn't say Cole Gibbler. He said Cole Kibbler.
Oh, Cole Kibbler.
That would be pretty sweet. I mean, 2 birds, 1 stone. You can get your best competition out of there and, get Cole Gibbler some work. I really like that. But no, we talked about this yesterday on the way back. I think Curtis and I were saying they literally, I bet on Tuesday or something like that, some of these hitters that haven't been hitting, like Pepe and Diggs or whoever, Gabe Frazier, will probably get live ABs against some of these pitchers that haven't thrown, because it's like, it's 2 weeks now where some of these guys, Fouch did throw in Hoover, but like Fouch and Gibbler both probably need some work. And Dylan Carter, Will McIntyre, these guys haven't thrown in a while.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Ryan McDaniel. Says, couldn't stay awake long enough to hear my super chat last night. Well, I was struggling, man. Everybody was tired. It was a late one, but that did remind me
a lot later too. So we're fortunate that game ended when it did.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Cause I mean, I think you said it, Andrew, in the middle, it's like, oh, it's 11:15 or just now 11 o'clock or whatever it was. I was like, man, I thought we were going to be starting this sucker at, it's on Monday morning or early Monday morning at the way that was going. So that was great. But it did remind me though, I meant to say this last night, but I didn't see it because I didn't have my phone with me. But shout out to James Jacobs for the awesome gift and super chat via PayPal last night. So we didn't see it last night, but wanted to give you a shout out. He just says, this is his note. He says, Omaha Hogs, y'all are the best, Kelly and James. So thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really appreciate you for that. Let's see. Seth's over here saying Dave Van Orr gets his ring, announces his retirement in the presser, and after final Tony V announced the next day. Dream scenario. I don't think it's a dream. I think it's a reality. I think it's happening. So.
Yeah. Is it a dream if it's just on the schedule? You know,
that's
that's
pretty fast nowadays.
Yeah, you didn't
Mississippi
manifest
State. Yeah, Mississippi State had their coach officially announced as soon as the final out of their season was caught. So,
by the way, I've long been in the camp of even if they win the title, he's not going to retire this year. He'll come back and do a farewell, and I still feel that way. Like if I were a betting man, I would still bet that is what would happen. But I'm now open to the possibility that he could just say "F it."
No, well, and let's be honest too, guys, because I believe. Not to say that I want it to happen this way, because if he wants to come back after winning a title, then I think he's earned that right. I think it's okay. But if he, looked at it, say if it was this year, it's not like he's losing all of his players this season and he's got to start from scratch next year. Like he's going to have some pretty dadgum good players in that back next season. So wouldn't surprise me at all. But winning the title, let's get there first, and then we can have that discussion.
Correct.
Then we can go from there. Also, sweet Arkansas gal, she's the one that sent me the picture actually of the one I posted of Andrew when he caught the foul ball. But she says, Andrew, hubby told me to take those pictures. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. We appreciate you. Also, she said it later that she felt like a stalker for knowing. She was like, "Oh, is it weird that I'm watching the game and I see someone catch a foul ball and I know who it is? Doesn't make you a stalker. It makes you a baller, I guess.
Awesome.
A ball knower.
Yeah. In fact, like I've always said this for what we do, and when I've been doing Locked On and everything, it would almost be like we wouldn't be doing our job, or we wouldn't be very good at it if we did what we did, and then you don't know our faces. I mean, unless you just literally listen to the audio version of our podcast, which is fine, totally can do that too. But it would kind of be like, man, you watch us every day, and you don't recognize us like on TV or anything like that. So yeah, I'd almost feel a little weird if you didn't know that that was Andrew catching that foul ball. Let's see. Dakota says, will we ever see John that way for football? Well, yeah, you will when it happens, which you won't. So no, you won't. But yeah, I mean, geez, like I said, I keep bringing it up. I was crying after Tennessee and that win over there in football. So imagine a game of consequence that actually mattered.
I mean, we'll have good moments in football, but when we're talking about the going into it, expecting to win and just taking care of business, it being smooth sailing, I don't know if that's going to happen for a while. There will be good football moments. Of course, there's always good football moments. Even in like the worst of times, there's been some good wins and some awesome nights, but usually they're like big upsets, not like something as enjoyable as this past weekend where you're just knowing an ass whipping's coming and you see it happen 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be an emotional wreck if Arkansas wins the College World Series title. Just like being honest, I'm going to be an emotional wreck. I'm going to be humming the theme to Rudy at the end of the movie, who's the wild man now? And just crying profusely. And I'm not even going to say words. I'm just going to be blubbering on the post-game show. So I can't wait. It's going to be great. Let's see. Trey says, if Tennessee pitches Doyle tonight, will that affect next weekend's rotation for them if they win tonight, that is?
I would imagine so, right? I mean, I don't know how it couldn't.
When they came here a couple weeks ago, Doyle pitched game 2 because his whole schedule was thrown off and weird the weekend before. So it wouldn't be unprecedented. It'd probably look a lot like it did last week, or was it 2-3 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
Can I throw this out there that if they do say if they go short rest for that man on Friday, say Arkansas plays on Friday, they do short rest and Tennessee wins and all that, that tells me all I need to know. Vitello's scared. Vitello's scared to death. He's like, man, we got to do this. We got to get our guy, kind of like last night with Creighton. We're like, we got to get this guy in there and hope and pray. Because if he does, he's our best hope, your only hope. It'd be that same thing where if they do that short rest stuff, Tony V knows, guys, we're not good enough to do that.
I feel like Tennessee's chances of winning a super at Arkansas, just in general, are higher than Tennessee's chances of winning a super in Arkansas if it goes to a game 3. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's like they probably need to win the first couple because it gets dicey for them quick, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we're seeing play out now this weekend for sure. Another thing I would point out with the Liam Doyle thing, and we talked about it in the moment because, like you said, Curtis, this already happened, where if he doesn't pitch game one, it all of a sudden puts a lot of pressure on Arkansas in that game one a little bit, because if you're having, even if it's Marcus Phillips, who's a damn good arm, I mean, he threw Saturday, threw the ball really well. He pitched he battled pretty well against Arkansas. And if it's that versus Zach Root, like it kind of puts some pressure where you don't want to be down 1-0 and then facing Liam Doyle, who's going to be very motivated because you whipped his ass already. And so it's going to be that mental gymnastics game. But yeah, I think if it gets to game 3, Arkansas should have the advantage in terms of the arms. I mean, that's how it played out in the regular season.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Don't have a game 3. Just take care of business in game 2. And let's just have a good Sunday, a chill Sunday, a very nice Sunday. Let's do that.
Is our preference here is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm assuming?
It is, since Tennessee's playing on Monday. Obviously, we won't know until tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Maybe it's late tonight. I don't know. But you know, we'll play the cards that the dealer gives us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the weather. I'm going to be honest, guys. Weather looks a little bit iffy this weekend. As of right now,
play baseball this weekend, Andrew.
Yeah, they're going to play at all, Andrew.
I think they're just going to. I think both teams will probably get eliminated.
Yeah, just okay. You guys can go home now. Well, too much rain. Too much rain coming in.
Starts 1-0 in Omaha already.
Yep. Jeez. But on Friday, 65% chance of rain, and also Saturday, 70% chance of rain, and Sunday, 60% chance of rain and storms. So Friday, Saturday, as of right now, it's just rain, but storms on Sunday. So that's something to watch for. And there's going to be what the weather's going to, because this past weekend, dude, we got spoiled. I mean, you could not have asked for better weather this past weekend for baseball. But this upcoming weekend, we're not going to be so lucky, it looks like. But who knows? Weather changes.
Hopefully the NCAA gets in front of that and moves it up. Like, not moves it up, but like has this, because there's going to be 4 series that start on Friday, 4 on Saturday. Hopefully they see that and they're like, hey, now let's give them that wiggle room and start it on Friday. So if you can get one in there, cool. If you got to wait and get 2 in on Sunday or whatever, like we can make it work. But that's going to be fascinating. Because
also, too, Monday has the highest chance of storms, not rain, storms. So maybe that's something they take into consideration where it's like, well, Friday and Saturday is just rain, but storms, we want to avoid that. So get the early going there for Arkansas and whoever they end up playing. So Odell outside. Appreciate it. Says, I hope I didn't mislead Curtis on Black Cherry Zevia. Just finished mine.
It's very good. It's very good. It's not my favorite, but I'll top 3 it. The cream soda, I think, is very solid. The vanilla cola, very solid, and the black cherry is good too. We got a variety pack, so
there you go. Yeah. Let's see. Also, shout out to Arkansas. He's like, I've made the decision. I'm headed up this weekend. Good.
Love that, man. Well, we will see you at Foghorns, and we're happy you made this decision.
That's right. And folks, for those of you who just tuned in or maybe didn't see it or weren't a part of it, we're going to be at Foghorns once again for the post-game shows for Bombastic this weekend. We'll keep you updated on scheduling and everything. But a really cool thing is we're going to try to make it work to where we're going to have us, our voices over the entire restaurant after the game. So when Arkansas is on after the dog pile, you'll be able to hear our golden pipes as we are telling you all about it and getting you all excited for it there at Foghorn. So it's going to be great. But really appreciate them letting us do it, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be back there once again. Let's see. Also, Arkansas said a very, very underrated thing that I noticed last night after the game was the players didn't storm the field like after the W, like most teams would do with a regional win. They treat it like another game.
This is very accurate, and it also got me thinking. No chance Arkansas dogpiles next week, then, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: Arkansas has dogpiled as a national seed several times. They dogpiled in 2022 whenever they were obviously not a national seed at North Carolina. I don't know if Arkansas has ever been to Omaha and not dogpiled.
Yeah, they're going to dogpile, man. I mean, come on. It's great. Yeah, it's kind of like cutting down the nets in the Final Four, like it's part of it. And I think, I'm usually the stickler back. I don't like any of these celebrations at all. But I actually do think the dogpiling is needed, noted, and worthy of celebrating and a cool thing. So, but as I told our guy, Madison McIntyre, it'll be great when Will McIntyre strikes out Tennessee, to end it. and they dogpile him on the pitcher's mound heading on to Omaha. It's going to be a great look.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He can handle it.
That's
I
right.
think it's going to be like the beatdowns are going to be healthy enough to where you've just known, like you've already accepted that you're going. You're just trying to get the final out, and it'll be a nice celebration. I don't think they'll dogpile. If it's walk them off or a 1-run win with a big strikeout, then you could sign me up for it. But I think they're just going to kind of beat the hell out of them like they did all these teams over the course of this past weekend and just clap it up, man.
I'm certainly not going to be like upset if they dogpile by any means. Like, I don't think anybody should ever be upset if you did. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. And I definitely am not the guy that's like, what if they get injured? Because whatever. But
you're going to dogpile.
It would be kind of cool if they didn't, because it'd be the first time that's ever happened. It'd be kind of like a moment of like a statement of like, this is letting you know we no longer get excited about just getting there.
I'm jumping directly on John's shoulders. We'll see how big of an old boy are you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to get my my workouts in then, because because I know that you're it's kind of like Pringle and Brazil. You're 220 pounds and I'm 256, so it's just
That's
gonna
right.
be the weight differential there. Let's see. Sweet Arkansas gal says, yeah, Curtis, don't back down. John has that little Tennessee fan haunting him.
We ain't afraid of the balls.
Which Tennessee fan?
Day one of the season, you remember you saw that kid that was wearing that Tennessee jersey or Tennessee shirt? That's how the season started. Yeah. And now that's how the season could potentially end, John. Does that haunt you?
No, screw that kid. I hated that kid.
That reminder is all John needed. Now he's like, all right, I want Tennessee coming here.
Yeah, he's all for it.
Because if I find that kid again, I guess I can't really physically assault him, but I'm gonna point and laugh at him and bully him a little bit, make him feel it. Let's see. The Hogfather says, does anyone else worry about the powers that be silently abandon football to a degree of in the name of elevating basketball and baseball at the next level? I mean, no.
There's a lot of reasons why I don't. One, because there's several athletic departments that compete at a high level in all three, or at least try, and allocate funds. And two, the funds that are required to field a good baseball team should not in any way affect or matter in the context of what it takes to build a football team. Those are very different numbers. Now basketball and football, it's a lot closer to, basketball actually costs more. But it's I don't think it's one of those things where it's like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, especially because as we know, basketball's funds, a big of them come from John Tyson, as we know. And I think, I'm not saying Jay Van Horn's pulling out the checkbook himself, but it definitely is not one of those things where it's like, oh, well, we gave Mason Molina $400,000, so now we're not going to be able to play football this year. Our football team's just going to suck. We can't get a quarterback now. It's like, I don't think they're drawing the line at the deli aisle.
No, not at all. Let's see. Trey just says, John, do you have Boogie seats again for the Supers? No, me and Boogie will not be sitting together for the game. I know what you mean. I don't know, Trey. I'm going to be honest. As we three know, the seats are kind of just one of those things where, last night, we were fortunate enough to have 2 seats together, and I had my 1 seat over behind home plate. But it's almost like a game time decision sometimes on these tickets, where we're going to be. But as long as we're in the game, we'll be in the game no matter what. We're going to be there. But as far as where, we all 3 could be behind home plate for all I know, or we all 3 could be up in the concourse sitting there and calling out every pitch, be a curveball. Just being those people that sit up there. So we never know. Let's see. Also, M. Bias Brim says, so are we rooting for UALR tonight? What kind of question is that?
Yeah, this is, let's make no mistake. We can talk about Wake Forest, Tennessee. This one's a no-brainer. We are all Trojans.
Yeah. What Razorback fan is rooting for LSU to beat Little Rock? Please find me one that's saying, yeah, man, I screw those Trojans down there in Little Rock. I'm all LSU, baby. Come on. Nobody should be rooting that way. So, Kate says, I sized you up at the game, John, but you had no idea. You're a pretty stout dude. I've never been. Am I a stout dude?
Sized you up.
Sheesh. I don't know.
First, he had no idea. You know what I noticed thinking about this? John's built like Grant Morgan.
What? It's in what way am I built like Grant Morgan?
I didn't think you were going to go there.
Builds y'all are. I bet y'all's height and weight is pretty similar.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought see Grant Morgan. I just think he's all traps. Like it's just like he has no neck. It's just, but I don't know. I mean, I guess there's worse people to be built like. A former
Earlsworth winner.
Yeah, SEC linebacker. But no, I've never felt that way too. Yeah, because you know what? It's funny that Cade, you said that. I meant to show you guys this. Somebody DM'd me last night or 2 nights ago, and they were just like, "Dude, I saw you, and you have the biggest calves I've ever seen." And I didn't respond because I think they were hammered because it was a lot of typos. But it's just one of those things. As I want to remind everybody, just say hi. Like just say hi to us and to me if you see us. Like we're not going to be awkward. You're not bothering us in the slightest. There may be times where we're trying to work or trying to do things. But if you just come up and say hi, love what you guys do, that's okay. We're never going to do that. But just don't DM me stuff or just be like, hey man, I saw you. I didn't say anything, but you got some nice calves. Don't do that, please.
Maybe talking about John like he just rolled up in the prison, in the high security prison, bro.
I know, dude. Like between that,
boy,
I'm telling you, like that.
Grab hold of this pocket.
I know, and I can't even take like as much as I'm starting to get now. I'm feeling like Curtis, but for a completely different reason. Everyone talks about Curtis's height. Every time we get a picture together, be like, God, John's just soaking in the spray tans, so just orange juice all over him. And just lay off the bronzer, buddy. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, I get it. It's the way it is. So, but yeah, appreciate everybody's concern and understanding of my physical appearance, and I appreciate you pointing it out. So, thank you. Good grief, man. We love you though. We love you, fans. We love you all. It's all fun. Is there a chat? Is there a chat you're laughing at that we need to bring up?
This might actually be question of the day tomorrow. Is John a prison 10? That's just a new term to me. This is pretty funny.
Well, I'm a prison 10. My Hawaiian shirt was a 9.6.
Yeah.
My glute joke was a 6.9. So we're getting all the ratings out there for it. So, jeez, man. We'll get into best and worst of the week here in a second. Just a couple more chats here. Our guy Hazelwood said, "I once saw Ellis eat a hot dog in one bite, no condiments." Hashtag pride month. Jeez.
So, go ahead, Curtis.
Well, I was gonna say, there were hot dogs involved with Andrew last night, but he did not go no condiment. He thinks some ketchup he put on the dogs there. Yeah, I immediately asked him because he unwrapped that thing. And I was like, "There's no way you're raw dogging this hot dog here." It wasn't.
I've definitely raw dogged them at the games before, where I just forget to grab something or whatever. It happens. Curtis raw dogged a cheeseburger last night, actually.
Good. It was good.
Really?
I gotta give him credit. I've never done the the little cheeseburger action there. Solid. I'm gonna do it again this weekend.
Yeah, I like that. Every time I grab 2 hot dogs at Baum, there's a photograph taken of me immediately. Like as soon as it's happened twice now. We're in just a picture with some fans, and there's like me just holding just double fisting glizzies. I'm like, damn, dude, that's tough.
Curtis's height, John's tan, Ellis's hot dog.
Just crushing hot dogs, man.
That's great. Oh, this is from Bobby G's. Like this show is taking a weird turn. Have you listened to this show? It does every day, pretty much. Yeah. We always have weird turns, man, and it's all y'all's fault too. It's never us. We don't go in here and be like, hey, let's talk about these things. Let's talk about the physical appearances. It's y'all. So
we're a little delirious maybe after the weekend, but this is typically a Friday. Well, it's Monday, but it's going to be a Friday practice. We're pulling a Sam Pittman right now with getting off the rails, dude. This is wild.
Yeah. Wednesday show is going to be a Monday though, so if you do want that Monday show, we're doing it Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one too, and we're going to be at the Hog Heaven House, which is an awesome Airbnb here in Fayetteville on Wednesday, and we're going to be looking a certain way. We'll stay tuned. We'll get you more updates on that too. Also, Carmaduke says, aren't all supers on the networks? I believe they are. I don't think there's any more streaming for Razorback baseball games moving forward. I think they're all going to be on.
We get to watch our team on the television.
Yes, on the tube, if you will. And LeBron James is very concerned. Wants a basketball question here, which makes sense. He says, do you think that there's anybody, Curtis, I'm sure you haven't talked about this ever, but do you think that there is anybody that Arkansas could still be targeting in the basketball portal?
Well, they're in the market, I think, to make another addition here. Portal, man, it is very, very thin. Maybe there's some guys there that I'm overlooking that would make sense. or some connections out there, or maybe there's somebody who's, on the verge of getting that 5th year approved or something. Seems to me more likely for like a reclass situation or an international player, because man, the portal's really, really picked clean. It has been like the day after we found out Thero wasn't coming back. He's staying in the draft, kind of like we thought there. Just put out a list of like 5 players who would make sense if they kind of wanted to fill that similar role, or well, not really role, but just that spot, kind of that backup 4. And most of them are already all off the board. Like one of the international guys is gone. The 2 North Carolina transfers are gone. One of them's going to Minnesota. One of them's going to play for Will Wade. It's pretty thin in there. So I'm leaning a little bit more towards a young guy that reclasses up, or an international pickup there. So
this is a hilarious comment out of context. LeBron needs to watch Pot at the Palace. Obviously he's talking about the commenter, but it's just, I mean,
he does, like
LeBron James, tap in, buddy.
Yeah.
Love that.
But this is good. No, I like to answer questions in here too, and then try to plug people to go over to the pod, because we do talk about that stuff daily. So we'll see. I mean, sign me up for some 7-foot Russian or something like that to come in if he wants to there. But the portal, man, there ain't no meat left on that bone in the transfer portal at this point. It's kind of crazy.
There's no Jalen Tates left. For late additions, there's no more of those guys.
Yeah.
So, but final chat before we get into a little best and worst of the weekend. Actually, I just like this from Seth. He goes, "Welcome to Inside Arkansas with Curtis, the Plain Burger Bandit, Andrew, the Raw Dogger, and John, the Prison 10." That's what we're known for. So glad we got our whole mottos and phrases and everything.
There was cheese on the burger,
Yeah, that's important. That's important. So, we love you guys. For as weird as y'all are, we love you still. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our best and worst of the weekend, presented by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty, where they're hosting a consignment equipment auction this Thursday, June 6th at 9 a.m. at their permanent facility located down there at 5701 Alma Highway in Van Buren, Arkansas. Buyers can expect heavy construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, and so much more. And if you can't attend in person, that's okay, because bidding is available online at looperauction.com and Proxibid. And if you got equipment to sell, there's only one place you need to call, Looper Auction and Realty. Call them today at 479-996-4848. That's 479-996-4848. It's Looper Auction, sold in 30, closed in 30. So for our best and worst of the weekend, I'll go and kick it off with best that I had. And, we've talked so much about the weekend for Razorback baseball and all of that, but I guess just everything encompassing it was just my best. I mean, just again, the weather was great. The Razorback baseball team played great. The pitching was great. Hitting was great. Fans were great. We had a great time at Foghorns before the game, after the game. It was just hard to beat that type of weekend, and so it was just so much fun to see Razorback fans, and we got to meet a lot of cool Razorback fans too. Some more inebriated than others, but still all great and all a lot of fun to be around and hanging out with us. And, we can't wait to do it again. It's going to be even crazier this upcoming weekend. But it gets cliche, but seriously, the best of the weekend was the weekend. It was just a great one. Everything went right. Everything was a solid time, and couldn't ask for anything more. So I may have another specific one later, but I'll just start with that one. And the generic one of the weekend was the best of the weekend for me.
I feel like we can all kind of echo that exact same sentiment for like an overall best of the weekend being the weekend here in Fayetteville. And then I think we all kind of have a similar one for worst as well. But I mean, to echo exactly what you just said there, it was awesome, man. It's so much fun. There's nothing like, just postseason baseball there at Baum, and the Foghorns experience right there across the street. First of all, it's very, very convenient for us. But that was awesome, man. And, all the Razorback fans in there who were hanging out. It was funny because some of them were shy. They thought they couldn't get to the restroom because they're like, am I going to be on camera? We're like, no, not even close. We're not putting cameras in the bathroom, people. But, and then other people who were just like, didn't realize exactly what was going on. They just come up and start a conversation with us in the middle of a live show. That stuff is awesome, man. Like Saturday night, I know we started late last night, so they were kind of shutting down everything. But Saturday night, we'd been done with the show for the longest. People were hanging out, talking to us, just feeling good, vibing. lubricated, as Sam Pittman likes to say. And we had to have been there like 45 minutes after they were officially closed. I know those poor people were like, all right, this is cool, but if you guys could go, that'd be great. So I will echo that. And then I'll just throw in, I'm loving the, like there's nothing better for me than that opening weekend of March Madness, and you get some Cinderellas and some upsets and everything like that. And I mean, we're kind of getting it here in so many ways with this college baseball bracket. So got to throw a shout out to, best of the weekend, Texas and Vandy being out of there. I think that's hilarious. And they're just two of the prime examples. Shout out to Little Rock for doing what they've done, and hope they get it done tonight as well.
Yeah, I've got two best of the weekend. One's a real one, and then one is the kind of playing off of what you guys were saying. And I'll use that one first. I really just wanted to say the class, the respect, and the solid competitive spirit of this regional this weekend. How often do you play? I mean, obviously, when you're not threatened by your opponent, it's easier to like them. But I think all Razorback fans are fans of the Creighton Blue Jays now. Like, they just were a fun team. Their fans brought it, by the way. They had a huge section there. They filled that sucker up. That was good. It was good to see them chanting and stuff. Their coach, Ed Cervais, we wish him well in his retirement. Like, been there forever, an OG of the game. Him and Dan Van Horn have a lot of respect for each other. His team doesn't play like a bunch of classless idiots. They don't carry themselves like jackasses or anything. And I think I can say the same for North Dakota State. And obviously, we didn't get to see Kansas much, but I'm a fan of their coach, Dan Fitzgerald, and their program as well. I just thought it was cool to see, like, baseball. I mean, and we're always weird about the baseball unwritten rules and respect and all that, but baseball is a game that is kind of like that. And it doesn't always have to be a nice guy thing, but it was really cool in this context to just have good, clean, competitive baseball. Everybody was shaking hands, and I really do like. It was cool. I'm pleased that the Fayetteville Regional got to host Cervais's last weekend as a coach.
Yeah, no, that was great. In fact, real quick, since you brought it up, and that's a good thing. This is what the exchange post game between Dave Van Horn and Cervais from last night.
Best, man. You're the toughest competitor I've ever went up against in all the years I've been doing this. That starts back in our days at Nebraska. I wish you the best, man. I wish you the best. I'm not too far behind you. You got a few more years.
That's good. You're the best.
That really, the game respects game. Like, that really is cool. And I mean, look, those guys have coached against each other a lot. And so that's pretty cool for him to say that. The toughest competitor he's ever faced up against, which is, I'm sure he's just kind of being nice, but that's pretty sick.
Yep, absolutely. Another best I want to throw in real quick is this guy in a yellow shirt and his reflexes from Jordan Spieth. Look at this. Matrix. Like, yeah, look at this again, folks. I know it's kind of a weird video, but like, look at the guy in the yellow. I mean, he that would have killed him. Like, if that hit you in the temple, you're dead.
Did it hit anybody behind him, or did it kind of elevate up?
It kind of elevated up. But I mean, just by the skin of his teeth. Woom. So,
you think Spieth was like, thank God, that probably saved me a couple strokes?
Yeah. Well, he ended up parring the hole, which was kind of like crazy. But yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So anyways, I was like, man, whoever that guy in yellow is, head on a swivel, if that's the case. So yeah, good stuff from him.
That's like that's me off the tee, boys. I don't.
Yes, same.
Listen,
that honestly made me feel good to see that, because you never really see that in golf. I'm always excited. I'm like, man, they're standing there comfortably. I can never do that, and nobody could ever do that around me playing golf. Curtis, do you have any other bests?
Nah, I think I'm good.
Okay, y'all familiar with the Hot Springs Wise Guys?
I don't think so. Maybe I'm not.
I have no idea what that is.
Professional Arena League football. It is in Hot Springs. I believe it is their first year. They had their first game over the weekend, had just under 2,000 fans come out and see them. Love to see that. And we, by the way, have been invited. I'll have to look at the schedule. Obviously, we're going to be pretty busy this next month or so. But at some point, I believe they will have a home game in the month of July. We might have to go down to Hot Springs and check out the Hot Springs Wise Guys. But they won their first game. I think it was Saturday. Here's the touchdown. I wanted to show y'all this video. Pretty sick. This is their first touchdown of the season. That's a good atmosphere there.
Did he get a foot down?
I don't know if he did, but I don't know if it matters.
I don't guess it matters.
I guess not.
I don't know the rules, if I'm being honest with you. We'll have to queued up on that before we go and check them out in person. But
dude, look at that little little
that's
venue, bro.
Yeah, no, it looks like a cool time. It looks like a fun time, and like obviously that's their first game, and I think the attendance was like 1,800, something like that, which is like nothing to scoff at all.
Yeah,
and like so it's gonna be cool to see, like, the more people know about this, the more people start going to those games. That could be a fun time this summer once the baseball season wraps up. We might have to take a little trip down there.
Yeah, I'd be down for it. Football's football. Looks like it could be fun, especially if they have cold beverages down there, which people is always about that too. So, all right. So worst of the weekend for me. This is like a reoccurring one every year, but every year around this time, it just still makes me mad. The stupid rules of college baseball postseason with home teams and road teams. It makes no sense. It's stupid. There's no logical reasoning behind it. It throws everything off. It makes it like yesterday, for instance, when we're sitting there and Arkansas, of course, is going to be playing in the second game, the late game. And you have the Razorback baseball team not knowing what uniforms are going to wear until that game ends, because they don't know if they're going to be the home team or the road team. Because if Creighton wins, Arkansas is the home team. But if North Dakota State wins, Arkansas is the road team, because they have to be the home team the same amount of times. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. I believe if you are a regional host, you're the home team. The higher seed, give them the home team. That make it easy. So there's not this confusing nonsense of Arkansas or anybody playing in their home field and, not batting last. That's just so stupid. And I don't understand it. And it doesn't feel like anybody likes it. And again, maybe I'm missing some sort of core reason behind it, but they need to move on from that. They need to change that rule. It's extremely dumb. And if you're the host, it doesn't even matter host. Higher seed, home team, across the board, done. I hate it.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't they do that? It's like you play an entire 50 some odd game season to seed these regionals. Like it's not like anybody's getting the shaft here. If they did it that way, it only makes sense. Yesterday was particularly egregious because it's like you're right. Like you have to wait until 2 hours before your actual game to determine if you're the home team or the road team and what that's going to look like. I think it's very silly. It drives me nuts, and I'm sure they've got some brilliant rationale about it, but it's not something I'm on board with, man.
Like imagine the college football playoff. You're a host team for the playoff, and it's like, all right, well, you're gonna have to wear your road uniforms. You get to call the coin toss. Like, why? No, there's no. You're the home team. It's your place. It's so. These are the dumb things that make no sense. And we talked about the other day when the playoff made the changes to college football. It's like, hey, we're just going to do straight seeding because they saw something dumb and they fixed it. I wish the NCAA do the same thing. Just fix it, and then everybody's good.
Would road teams be complaining if they did that? You know what I mean? Would road team you think Creighton would be like, listen, I know we're the 3 seed and we haven't played diddly squat all year, but like we should maybe get to be the home team one of these games. You know what I mean? Like imagine they started doing that for SEC series. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And like, there's a reason why teams get to host regionals. You have to win enough games. You have to kind of get there. And I understand, like, you they don't want it to be a super advantageous thing, is what the NCAA tournament is kind of designed to be. It's supposed to be a neutral thing. But if you're not having it at a neutral site, there's a reason why. I think it's okay to just give the teams that little nod. It's such a small reward. It is such a small thing, and it's not that big of a deal. And I don't know why. It's just confusing. I'm glad they let him stay in the dugout though, because I was a little worried about that in years past, where I was like, well, "Are they gonna make him switch dugouts? What's going on here?"
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm gonna save the one that I know that we all want to talk about. I'm gonna do a different one here. Did you guys see the Inside the NBA sign off on TNT? I mean, first of all, shout out to Shaq and Kenny for like not being afraid to drop some F-bombs there, but like the mic drops from everybody. Kind of the way that they did it was cool, but I just hate that it's the end of an era. You know what I mean? And I know that it's going to be on ESPN or whatever. They're going to screw it up. They screw everything up. it's not going to be the same. And it's really one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deals. And I know how it works with money and networks and all the stuff that goes into it. But it just sucks, man, because that has been absolute gold. And sometimes I won't even watch a majority of a game, but I'll tune in and listen to those guys, cut up. And it's just highly entertaining. And, it stinks that it's kind of the end of an era there. And, like they're going to try to spin it in their own way at ESPN. I know, Charles Barkley's done a thing where he's like, they can't tell me nothing, man. I'm going to do we'll see. But I guarantee you it's not going to be the same quality of product that it has been for all these years. I'm really going to miss it. So that's a worst for me, although kind of the way that they went about it there, I laughed and I could have put that on the best, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw Bill Simmons saying that unless they just completely change the structure of how they do the ESPN, because the ESPN's been doing their pregame and halftime shows and postgames and all that. And he's like, it's always like 1.5 minute segments. And then you do a bunch of commercials. He's like, I just don't know. And especially because they had to pony up a lot of money to get these guys to do this. And you need to get that back in ad revenue. I don't know how they're going to be able to change their format completely and give them longer segments, which is what they've been doing on TNT. And it's what you kind of need for that show to thrive. You need these guys to be able to riff back and forth and get off track and laugh at Kenny because he fell over and make fun of him for 3 minutes. I don't know how, it's really hard to do that on ESPN with the way they format it. And so it's going to be interesting for sure. I've got two worst of the weekend besides the one obvious one that we're going to talk about. First, John Brinkus, sports science.
Oh, man.
Rest in peace. He has had a battle with depression, which I did not know until yesterday, but apparently this has been well documented. He's talked about his depression and how he's kind of had some rough mental health battles and stuff. From what I can tell, I don't know this is for sure. It seems like he took his own life yesterday, or at some point over the weekend. And so, not a super old guy. I guess it's been a while since they've been doing sports science, but dude, I used to love that show. I think everybody is watching a segment of that they loved or whatever. One of the coolest shows they did on ESPN back in the day. He was the man.
Yeah, and also just if anybody wants to go look it up on YouTube, he did a sports science thing on Ryan Mallett, also rest in peace, about his throwing motion and everything. It's really cool. So if you Razorback fans, if you want a cool little thing there, he talked about the sports science behind Ryan Mallett and his throwing motion, which was good.
My favorite was the Randy Johnson bird one, where they showed the clip of the bird and they crunched the numbers of how improbable it was. And it's like literally the most unlikely thing that's like ever happened in human history. They're like, this is crazy.
Did you see the kind of rivals that, but I can't remember the softball deal. I think it was Oregon, the pitcher that like kicked up the dirt and then released the pitch hit the dirt and then the dirt went in the catcher's eye.
Yes. That was crazy.
Did you not see that, Andrew? It was absolutely nuts. I'll send it to you. It was crazy, man.
Clumped up, and then the ball hit it. The dirt exploded, and again, sports science would be great for that type of segment.
It was very cool stuff. My other worst of the weekend. Are y'all familiar with the artist and performer known as R-Truth?
I'm not until you said something about it. No.
Well, he got released by the WWE today, or yesterday, and everyone was bummed out about it. Everybody's been putting out all these messages. He used to sing his walk-up song. He was this guy that used to go out there in jeans that said R-Truth on him, and he would rap his walkout song, and it was called "What's Up," and it was always very fun, and he was just awesome. As a kid growing up watching WWE, I always loved R-Truth, and he just wrestled John Cena like 2 weeks ago, and then they did not renew his contract.
Jeez.
Yeah. Dave, listen, WWE ain't been the same since the Attitude Era. I've been out of it. Sorry. That's all I want to throw.
That's all. I mean, that's all I had to say was R-Truth is released, and I'm sad about it. And RIP John Brinkus.
Yeah. Well, you want to do your final also of your worst? Because it's our one together.
Yeah, I guess we can do the group. I actually had this maybe as a best and worst. I had a couple hybrids. I have two things actually for best and worst, because on one hand, there's a guy in this scenario that I think should be commended as one of the best of the weekend. The Coastal Carolina coach Kevin Schnall for standing up for his guys, his support staff, and his team, honestly. And Kevin O'Sullivan of Florida, the absolute worst of the weekend. Weirdly enough, I saw the clip of Kevin Schnall talking about this and talking about how, hey, there's a coach here that really disrespected some people. And I thought that was interesting. And I thought that was cool. Before I even saw what actually happened, someone got a video of Kevin O'Sullivan absolutely, and we can't play it because there's so many curse words that he said in this tirade. He's chewing out like the field operator, the grounds crew, and there's like 2 or 3 other people circled around, and he's just dog cussing the entire Coastal Carolina staff basically and being like, this is effing unbelievable, all because they pushed their game back 1 hour because the game the night before had run late. It had been impacted by weather, and so they said, hey, this team's about to have a quick turnaround. Let's move the game back 1 hour. And Kevin O'Sullivan lost his shit and went crazy on these dudes. Just unbelievable. And I loved, and we'll play the clip here. It seems like Kevin Schnall loved that he stood up for his guys.
Last thing I have is I have to say this, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I believe in standing up for what's right. And what transpired this morning on our field, another coach disrespected our associate AD, who works as hard as anybody in our entire program. He disrespected our field crew, who are the salt of the earth. These guys would do anything for our program. It's not okay. And this needs to be brought up. Absolutely disrespectful. As a coach, it's our job to mentor young kids. And the way he treated the 2 site reps, the way he treated our associate AD, the way he treated our field crew is absolutely unacceptable. And that's what I'm most disappointed about. This is a national champion coach who thinks he can come in here and try to bully people around. Disappointed. Disappointed, somebody that a lot of coaches look up to. For him to act that way, really disappointed. He disrespected a Hall of Fame coach who's the site rep here. That's all I got to say.
Had a baby.
Yeesh, man. Yeah, like I know, like I said, we can't play the video of what O'Sullivan said, but here's the deal. It's like, man, I understand coaches, they're highly competitive. We see coaches, lose their minds on umpires, and we see coaches lose their mind on their own players. We see them lose their minds, but it's like, I don't know. You got to be a certain level of, if you're going off on another team's grounds crew that way, it's one thing if you have a problem or if you take issue or if you're pissed off or whatever, but that type of behavior was just, that was insane. It was one of those things to where if it wasn't a baseball coach like Kevin O'Sullivan, I would have been like, oh, they must have had some crazy guy on drugs wander into the stadium and just start berating people. Like, that's how bad it was. He just felt like he was a crazy person. So yeah, that's great for that coach, and really disappointing to see O'Sullivan do that, man. Because I don't care what it was, an hour difference, nothing was worth the type of behavior that he was showing in there.
Some people are off limits too, and it feels like the grounds crew is, included in that list of people you just don't do that to. Shout out to this coach for teeing off on him. And he did it in a really like stern and but also like a professional manner. Like, he did a really good job there. I'm sure you guys saw Sullivan get kind of asked about it after the game when your season ended because you suck. And he was just very, I'm not really going to talk about that. They asked him if he apologized. He's like, I handled it appropriate. No, you didn't. You didn't, guy. Sorry. What a jerk, man. That was crazy.
I could not believe Kevin O'Sullivan was like, oh yeah, I handled it properly, and then refused to go into detail. Because again, if you do have some actual grievance to air out, let's hear about it. Let's hear your side of the story and eloquate it and really be calm and be like, hey, this is why I think they shouldn't have pushed that back the game an hour. Here's what I was trying to convey, blah, blah, blah. I apologize for cursing. He didn't do any of that. For him to act like that is crazy. And I've never been a huge fan of Kevin O'Sullivan. I didn't realize I didn't like him this much. I did not know he was this type of guy. I really didn't. And I think it was cool. I mean, and honestly, credit to the coach for saying that, for being like, hey, I'm disappointed in a national championship coach who all of us look up to. Like, I'm hosting him here this weekend, but like, I'm a coach trying to make it. Like, I look up to this guy. That's messed up. And I'm really glad. Like, that really fired me up seeing him stand up for his guys. And that's another thing. I hate to bring it back to Dave Van Horn, but you want to just put that under the category of stuff you would never see Dave Van Horn do is that. And Dave Van Horn talks about one of his 7 tweets a year is shouting out the ground screw. And man, they take such good care of our field. These guys they do more for our program than anyone knows. And everyone knows that. Like you said, they're kind of off limits. And I couldn't believe that Kevin O'Sullivan, I can't believe he hasn't issued some type of an apology. And I know he'll put up some fake ass PR statement soon, but he needs to come out and say something, because that's unreal. Especially, and look, I know we alluded to the video. I know there's some people that are probably like, what really happened? You can find the video if you look up Kevin O'Sullivan on Twitter. It's NSFW, but he just berated those dudes, and he looked like a complete asshole.
Yep. In fact, speaking of Dave Van Horn would be the one that would be like old boy coach there. Was it Shaw? I think is his name, Coach Shaw. He would have been that guy in the press conference. Snall, yeah, just the guy in the press conference that would have gone on. He wouldn't maybe have been as that intense, because I don't know if Dave, but he would basically say, yeah, that's stuff that doesn't happen here. I mean, he would be the guy standing up for him. So, and also Dave makes sure he loves his grass, man. You ain't messing with the grounds crew. Like he loves his grass. He's very protective. So, yeah. Okay, we'll get to some chats, but also some other headlines too. And of course, that is brought to you by our friends over at BetSaracen, the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. You know that as soon as the games transpire today in college baseball, they're going to have all the specials and all the great stuff that's happening this upcoming weekend for the Razorbacks and their super regionals. So they're going to have prop bets. They're going to have all the lines. They're going to have everything that you could want, not just for Razorbacks, but of all the super regionals and college baseball. They have the NBA Finals that they got going on, like everyone thought it would be, the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers. So they got the specials there, and so you'll be able to check that out. And then you have all the sporting events. I mean, they got stuff like table tennis, man. They got it all. So check them out today. It's BetSaracen, #1 sports betting app. You can download it on your iPhone or on your Android, or you can also check them out at BetSaracen.com. All right, so let's see a few headlines real quick, and we'll get to your chats too, folks. Just to give you an update on where it stands for the super regionals in college baseball, because some of them have been set already, but some of them are waiting. Like Louisville, for instance, they advanced out of the Nashville regional because Vanderbilt sucked, so they ended up winning that one. They're awaiting the winner of Southern Miss and Miami, so we'll see what that happens there. UTSA advanced in the Austin regional, which was great, but they're going to be facing off against UCLA in that super regional. Florida State advanced to the super regional. They're going to be facing the winner of Oregon State and USC. Duke advanced to the super regional and the Athens regional there, and they're waiting the winner of Ole Miss and Missouri and Murray State. Arizona advanced to the super regional. They're waiting North Carolina and Oklahoma. Then you have West Virginia. They're waiting on LSU, Little Rock. Auburn, shout out to Quinn. They have already been set, and they'll be facing off against Coastal Carolina, as we just saw from there. And that's super regional. And then Arkansas, of course, waiting on the winner of Tennessee and Wake Forest. So you have a few games of note there. Are we rooting all against the SEC teams today? All SEC teams get out, right? I
would like to see Oklahoma win, but outside of that, outside of that, I think I'm with you there.
Shout out Oklahoma, who has been, I would say, they've been fine. They had a pretty solid season. Has just been a team that nobody has discussed in any context other than they got that one pretty good pitcher. That's really the only context. Nobody has referenced them as a threat. I gotta say, Auburn kind of feels that way as well. Dude, Auburn is still getting disrespected if you look at the odds of College World Series title and all this stuff. They're the second highest team left in the field, and they're on the opposite end of the bracket. They're the highest team left in their or the highest seeded team in their side of the bracket, and they got Coastal next week. Which we just shouted out their head coach, but it's not like that's the most difficult supers matchup ever. Auburn's national title odds might be worth a sprinkle, and the Hogs might be the have to one to ruin that bet if you make it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Arkansas and Auburn, as far as what we've seen so far, they're definitely the two that have looked the best in the regionals. So we're going to be looking at that.
What do we think that would do for our relationship with Quinn? An Arkansas Auburn final that involved Arkansas winning.
It would get a little chippy. It would definitely get a little chippy, but I think the ride there, because I mean, if they go, he's going to be in Omaha for a while. We would have such a good time on the way there, and we built up some brownie points because we've been supporting Auburn, and as we should. I think we would probably be able to overcome it, but it would get a little hasty.
I'm making my prediction, and I don't mean this in an insulting way. I'd be fine. Curtis would be fine with Quinn. And Andrew, I know you're going to say something.
No,
and you're going to set him off. But even if you don't mean to, though, but you'll just make a snide remark, and then you're going to get one of those late night Quinn tweets directed at you that we all know about.
I used to pray for times like this, man.
I low-key kind of fished for one.
Bad.
I kind of fished for one the other day because someone tagged me in something about how Auburn's field is basically just Vanderbilt's, but just looks a little bit different. I did say that I think Auburn's is a better field than Vanderbilt, but I think those are two bottom tier ones. But I was like, thoughts at Quinn? Just tagged
Everybody has their like their routines before bedtime, like wash up, brush your teeth, get a glass of water, whatever. I do all those things, and then I curl up, pull up the covers, and then I go see what who Quinn has teed off on Twitter. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And for the longest it was going and checking John's mentions, because people just say some outrageous things in there and you need a good laugh and it's whatever. I swear that Quinn he just let one fly as we were talking about this. That's electric.
Man.
It's just, he's hilarious, man. Absolutely cracks me up.
And the funniest thing about it is because I know, Andrew, hopefully you get to meet him in person too in Omaha. When me and Curtis met him in person, it makes it funnier if you read what he's tweeting in the way that, he kind of like talks. Not that he talks badly or anything, but it's just like
he's mellow.
Yeah, he's very mellow. He's very chill. So it's like to see, like, is it one of those things? I don't know if I've ever heard him yell. Like, I couldn't imagine what he sounds like if he's yelling, but these tweets come across as if he's yelling. So who knows? Maybe we'll get to see a little bit of that in Omaha. But yeah, shout out to Quinn, man. Well, Quinn's good people. We love Quinn. Let's see a few chats here that we'll also get into. John Pigman the fourth, I think that's the Roman numeral I'm reading, says, how do I become a channel member? Well, I believe it's pretty easy. Just join to be a YouTube channel member, which we appreciate all of our members. Starting to have a few of them get their month anniversary here. And we'll be doing a special here in a few weeks, as I know baseball's taking up everything, but we're going to do a special members only live stream. We'll have some giveaways and some cool stuff. We'll keep you updated on that. So, because we don't want you to be like, hey, join us, and then be like, all right, see ya. We want to make sure we give back to all of you who support us.
I do want us to do like stuff like that, especially in the off season. During the season, it's tough because we have like kind of a schedule of how we do things, and we have certain things that go out throughout the week. And Curtis right now is still having to crank out his daily basketball videos because they keep crushing. But during during the like months of July and maybe even August, it'll be some time to kind of kick back, and we'll be reflecting on this natty run, of course. But it'll be cool to like just do some fun stuff for that. Matter of fact, can I go ahead and pitch an idea real quick?
Sure.
I think, because Curtis has been threatening to watch Star Wars here lately a few times. He's been kind of like tossing that idea around. I think maybe we need to do a members only, like we just all watch Star Wars together and everyone can just watch it with us. We need to do a little watch party, and we're just going to live commentary, watch Star Wars with Curtis Wilkerson.
Yeah. that may be one of the
people going.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, not everybody, you don't have to come, maybe if you're a member, you'll be like, this sucks and I hate it. But it's like, I can think of worse things to do. And we've been dancing around this for a while.
Yeah. Now, listen, maybe it's one of those deals that we try the first one, like see how it goes the first time around. And if it's successful, we keep it going. But, if we do it and this live stream ends up being just us three watching it together, just on camera, and nobody else cares, then, maybe we'll move on from it. But hey, I love doing watch alongs for anything. It's like, it's tough sometimes with YouTube and monetization and everything to check it out. But, like we talked about it for football season. I know last year was kind of different because we were relaunching, rebranding and everything. But I think it'd be awesome for road games and stuff to be on locations at places and do live stream, but watch the games at certain establishments that we can have a lot of people at and hang out with us and watch games. So I'm all about watch alongs, man. I love them. They're fun. Well, also because they're really easy because you're just sitting there watching stuff and reacting to it. But yeah,
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah,
it is. It's easy. Heartbroken Hog, he said, going back, he said, my worst of the weekend is Tay Lockett posting, gotta feed the fam, in response to him taking a visit to Oregon. Shaking my head.
Not what you want to see, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
I did not see that.
He did.
Who was, oh man, the Tennessee transfer defensive back?
Slaughter.
Arkansas. Yes. Wasn't he the one that was like, gotta feed my family? Family gotta eat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
And I hate that too, because I remember I had Tay Lockett on my Locked On Razorbacks back when he first committed to Arkansas, because highly regarded player, and he still committed to Arkansas. But really great kid and a great family. Talked to them a little bit. I think it was this past football season. They came for a game. So really hoping that he's a diehard Razorback fan and all of that. But yeah, him posting that. I mean, listen, it's no big deal. If he ends up staying with Arkansas, nobody's gonna be like, I don't want that kid anymore. He tweeted out that thing on that visit about him needing to feed his family. Yeah, just let it go. But yeah, I get it though.
Get your money up.
Yep. Let's see. Gunner Fly says, I agree, Andrew. It was nice to watch men play baseball like men and not a bunch of punks. Nothing but respect all the way around. Nobody throwing temper tantrums over calls. Just good, clean baseball, which is true. But I meant to bring this up last night, and I forgot to bring it up best of the weekend too. But I love Razorback fans so many times with those pictures for Creighton doing their little steps on the mound, and then the Razorback fans counting 1, 2, 3. That was awesome. Like, just that wasn't planned. That was impromptu. Everyone did it. Everyone got on board with it. It was really funny. So
it also worked, like actually worked on the first guy because he stopped doing it. Like, where he didn't stop completely, but he was going like 4, 5, 6, and then he started doing 3, and then he kind of lost control a little bit.
Yeah, I was hoping that one maybe like he was that's the way he tipped his pitches. That would have been really stupid and funny if I was like how he's doing. He's like, oh, 4 steps. I'm doing the 4 seam, and then 2 steps over here doing the curve.
Also, John's not beating the illiterate allegations.
Oh, sorry. Gunner Flies.
Gunner Flies.
Gunner Flies. Leave me alone. I'm sleepy. It's been a long weekend, but a good one. Jeez.
But I and this is another reason why I want Tennessee. I'm just going to I'm trying to talk people into to being all about this, but you just had the good, clean, purity of the game baseball regional weekend in Fayetteville. Now I want somebody to hate.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. And by the way,
and maybe Wake Forest has that. I don't know. Well, I'm going to find out tonight because I'm going to watch them. But
I like that. Can I just be honest for a second, though? I think this narrative is a little bit overblown that like this Arkansas team never celebrates. Obviously, now they don't celebrate over the top in the weird ways. They're definitely not obnoxious, but like those dudes can pimp a home run here or there. Although I went back and watched Justin Thomas's home run video from like the angle from the dugout. It almost looks like he remembered in his head, oh yeah, Dave said we shouldn't be doing stuff like this. And so he wanted to pimp it. And then he's like, wait a minute, let me run. But the Heat has had like probably 7 home runs this year where he's hit it and immediately flipped his bat and turned to the dugout and done his little got a big buck motion there. Which, by the way, someone asked us about that. I don't know if we've talked about this publicly, but apparently this means we got us a big one. Yeah. We reeled in a big fish. We killed us a big buck. We hammered that fastball or whatever. I think it's pretty cool, and I like it. Yeah, no, I do too. I've always said if you're pimping a home run, I don't mind it, but if you're doing it towards your own dugout, where if you bat flip towards your dugout, you look towards your dugout, you're doing your stuff. Like, I'm fine with that. But it's when you like literally go to the opposing team and do it all that. It's like because you're just it's just like in any other sport, you're taunting. So there's with you on that. I just think it's funny because like we talk about this Razorback team like they're like these just personalityless guys who don't Robots. Get But it's like, and that's why it's like, to your point, Curtis, I think they would enjoy probably having someone to hate. And I wouldn't be stunned if they maybe let it eat a little bit next week. And they maybe were playing with a little bit of that edge. I mean, dude, did you see Zach Root the other day doing that motion? Awesome. He was pitching with some purpose, man. Yeah. Also, too, just telling you, if it ends up being Tennessee, I'm sure those Tennessee boys are going to remember old big Will McIntyre. Again, if they ever go against him, because they're probably going to want some of that. Because Will was making it known, which I loved. I loved it. But yeah, it could be intense though if it's the Tennessee Volunteers. This was sad to see from Mrs. Woo Piggy, aka Dan's Van. Says worst of my week, and my 10-year-old granddaughter broke her leg at the pool yesterday. Well, I hate to hear that. Hopefully she's okay. Man, that's the thing is like it's weird. As a kid, and I've always thought this way because this whole story of Ronnie Brewer, he broke his arm on a water slide, and that's why he had the shooting motion and all that. It was just like, you think of a pool, I'm like, man, how do these things happen? Because you just jump into water, and it's. Did she break the no running policy on the? Yeah, that's why they have the signs there, man. Yeah. I don't know. I had a buddy one time, my first time going to church camp back in the day. My buddy jumped off the diving board. He was going to do a backflip, and then he changed his mind after he jumped. And cracked his head open on the diving platform. And so he had to go to the hospital. And so it's like our first day at camp. He's the only guy I know. And he gets transported to the hospital on a stretcher. I'm like, damn. Jeez. Now what am I going to do? I got to like make friends at camp, man. This is horrible. Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A few quick headlines that kind of have been going on because like I said, we know we've talked a lot. First off, shout out former Razorback Frank Ragnow.
All Pro Bowler, Detroit Lion offensive lineman, dealt with injuries and whatnot, but announced today that he will be retiring from the game of football. So want to give him a shout out. I know, he's dealt with injuries, and never forget when he was at Arkansas and dealing with the loss of his dad, like in the middle of the football season, which was, man, I just couldn't imagine. But it was also one of the coolest things too. Not to make it about him, but like when Nick Saban came up to him after that game, because it was that week of the Bama week, and like Nick Saban ran late to the press conference because he went to go find Frank Ragnow and talk to him, which I thought was really cool. But either way, Frank Ragnow, great Razorback. Dude was played. I think he played literally every position on the offensive line at Arkansas. Like he played out all of it, but hanging it up, calling it quits, and retiring. But solid career, man, and wish him nothing but the best. I wonder what he's going to do. He's probably just going to go fishing every day, man. I remember that was what he was big on, just fishing.
I was going to say he's in position now to be able to enjoy his life, however he wants to. So, like it's always bittersweet when this happens because, like, I'm sure his identity has been very much wrapped in his career in football and everything like that. And excuse me, I'm not crying. I got a tickle in my throat.
She's real worked up about Frank
Ragnow.
Ragnow.
Gosh, man, it's so sad, man. It's just I'm just torn up for him, But now he gets to do what he wants, and he's put himself in that position. So from that standpoint, man, happy for him and wish him all the best out there. And hopefully he's not a stranger around these parts, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We definitely, he's definitely an all-time Hog. He's one of the best offensive linemen that have ever stepped foot on this campus. And that's saying a lot because, even in the last 25 years, there have been some damn good ones that had long careers in the NFL. Obviously, he wasn't able to have the Jason Peters length of the career, but he accomplished a lot in his pro career, man. Several-time All-Pro, several-time Pro Bowler, was a part of some really awesome Detroit Lions teams. He was a big part of that culture, building that culture to where it's at now. And so good for him. And he's battled through some injuries, man. What injury was it last year that Dan Campbell was like, this dude's a psycho. He's trying to play through this.
He tore his pec, right?
Yeah. He tore his pec and was like playing through it and like mad that they weren't letting him play through it. So it's like, you can't question that dude's toughness. But I think he's probably making a similar decision, weirdly enough, to another Detroit Lions player back in the day, who was like, you know what, I'd rather be able to walk when I'm 50, than squeeze every last bit of it. And I know athletes, that's kind of in their nature to try and like go to the point where you can't anymore into that. And then that's when you really suffer those long-term injuries. I'm happy that he's going to be able to walk and he's going to be able to, hold his grandkids and all that good stuff. And we wish him well, man. He's an awesome guy. Somebody shout out to Greg Roberts because he just tweeted at me and said that Frank is probably going to fire up the Grizzly Man outdoors. Y'all remember when he was doing that? And I think that really has been something that he's wanted to do. I hope he's able to do that and crush it at that. There's been a lot of athletes that have been able to transition well into the media space afterwards. I think Frank Ragnow could be that type of guy. I do too. And finally here, just real quick, Taylor Green has officially been invited to the Manning Passing Academy. So wanted to give him a shout out. Yeah. Listen, it's great to see. And it's one of those things I laugh about it because if anybody has any negative comments about it, it's whatever. But I'm like, I don't think anyone goes to a Manning Passing Academy and becomes worse. May not become better, but they don't get worse. So it's a cool thing though. And it's a cool honor. So shout out to Taylor Green getting that invite because last time I checked, the Mannings were really good at the quarterback thingy. So
yeah, he's going to learn a ton there. That'll be really good.
Yep. I wonder if he's going to be a counselor because it's like a huge. By the way, it's in Louisiana. I used to have a buddy that went every year, and you have to pay like a shit ton of money to go if you're a kid. But funny story, my buddy that went, he was there the year that Johnny Manziel was a counselor. Do y'all remember this?
Yeah.
And he said, I think Josh Rosen was the quarterback because they're all there's like 5 kids per quarterback or whatever, and so everyone has their group, and he was in Josh Rosen's group, and then they kind of looked around. And Johnny Manziel's kids were like, where do we go? Because like our counselor's not here because he was hungover and missed it. And so he was like, yeah, they had to just like disperse these kids. And so we had to, and then he was watching everyone figure it out in real time and became a legendary story of Johnny Manziel being so hungover he skipped the Manning Passing Academy. Let's hope Talon has a better experience. I imagine he will represent himself with a little bit more class and decency.
Yes, I think so. And finally, real quick, Mrs. Woo Piggy, aka Dan's Van, said, "Thank you. She'll be fine." Talking about her granddaughter broke her leg, but it sucked. I can imagine. So glad to hear she's going to be okay.
That's the most terrifying part about pending fatherhood. Just thinking about the kiddo getting hurt. That's scary stuff. So
it is.
That's just gonna be okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, fellas, any final thoughts before we get out of here for the day?
Oh man, no, I'm good. I think I got them all out.
Woo damn pig. Turn on that damn jukebox. You know what I'm saying? Love the pig. It's a great day in America. It's a great day in the state of Arkansas. And I'm sorry for the football guys that we didn't talk enough football on this show. I know everybody's sad about it, but we're going to Omaha, man. We're winning the national title. There are more important things to talk about right now. We'll get to that. We'll get to the fall camp updates in August.
Yeah. Well, as I've always said to people that we're upset if we didn't talk about a certain something or didn't get into a certain something, be like, hey, we'll do better tomorrow because we'll be back tomorrow. And hey, maybe we'll talk about it then. So be sure to tune in and be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas for all the things going on in all Razorback land. Again, it's going to be a busy week for us. So we're going to be at the Hog Heaven House live for Inside Arkansas live on Wednesday, Alumni Hall on Friday. We're going to be doing bombastic post-game shows at Foghorns, through the Supers. Busy, but fun, energetic week here at Inside Arkansas. So be sure you're tapping into it, not only with Inside Arkansas YouTube page, but wherever our audio podcasts are found. Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, bombastic podcast. We got it going on over here. So be sure to subscribe to it. Follow us on social media. We'll keep it going from there. So for Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.